If you're at a rock bottom moment in your life right now, this YouTube's for you. Now, what I'm going to give you over the next few minutes is a framework that you can use to bounce back from absolutely anything. And I mean anything. So stay tuned. So in our day-to-day lives, we're busy. Work, the family, so on and so forth. But in that busyness, we find calm, we find peace, we find familiarity. And there we are going along with our day-to-day lives, and then all of a sudden, bang, something knocks you off your feet, and all of a sudden, everything's up in the air. You've been hit by a death of a family member. You're going through a breakup, a divorce. Your business isn't doing too well. You get sacked. And all of a sudden, everything becomes that much more difficult. You stop looking after yourself. You stop going to the gym. You stop eating well. You get snappy with the missus, with the kids. Your productivity is off at work. And that's because you do not know how to handle these events when they show up in your life. And the only thing that is certain in life is uncertainty. So I think it's best that we equip ourselves with this tool so we can navigate life and continue to make progress even in the most turbulent of times. So I just want you to pause here and just think for a second. Look back and ask yourself, what was that moment for you? What was your rock bottom moment? What actually happened? What triggered it? How did it affect your work? How did it affect your health? How did it affect your mental health? How long did it take you to recover? Was it days, weeks, months, years? Or are you still unhealed? And what did your comeback look like? If you ever made one, that is. Now I want you to imagine if you could shorten that comeback distance, if you could speed things up, if you could bounce back just like that. I was watching a David Goggins interview not long ago, and he's got a mantra, and it isn't who's going to carry the boats, or you don't know me, son. Not that one. Great mantra as well. He's got a mantra where he says, Roger that. And I thought to myself, this motherfucker's sadistic. He's got to be. But then I realized this guy has emotionally conditioned himself to deal with hardships. And I thought, can it be recreated? Can it be recreated on demand? Because he can do it. And that's when I come up with the LARC framework. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach to you now. So what typically happens over time is we have life events. So I'm just marking this out. So, the bottom axis represents your life, time. And on this axis over here, this represents your mood, your effectiveness, and your capabilities. Now, what tends to happen, we have events throughout our life that throw us off track. So this could be a job loss. This could be a breakup. This could be something going on in your business. Your business not doing too well. And there's three sorts of people, okay? And they all start off here. So what tends to happen with, let's call him Bob. So this is the first sort of individual. They'll be going along with their lives, their capabilities are where they've always been. They'll have a blip, they'll drop down. And then once again, they'll have another blip. And over time, they become the shell of the man that they used to be because they don't know how to deal with hardship. So that's Bob. Let's label that Bob. Do you want to give me another British name?
Jeff.
Jeff. Proper bloke's name. Then we've got Jeff. Starts off in the same position. Now, Jeff does know how to bounce back somewhat, but he's not learned how to bounce back better, come back stronger, bigger, badder than before. And that's what we're teaching you here. We're not just teaching you how to bounce back, we're teaching you to bounce back higher. Let's put it that way, okay? So Bob is going along. He'll hit a blip. He'll have a dip. And then he'll come back to baseline. Once again, he'll have a blip. And there's no real progression. So that's Jeff, sorry. And finally, give me another British name.
Paul.
Paul. Proper bloke's name. But Paul, on the other hand, Paul knows how to deal with shit. Paul uses setbacks as trampolines. He uses them for growth. So what you see with Paul, Big P, is that the same fucking colour? What's that? Big P is going to be green. So Big P, he has a setback, but then he ends up here. Has a setback and he ends up here. So you can see Paul has made progress, has grown through the hardships. Bob's a complete fucking write-off. He's that guy in the pub. Back in my day, I could have been something. And then we've got Jeff. Jeff is your NPC. Your non-playable character. We want to be more like Paul, people. We want to be more like Paul. So this is what I'm going to give you right now. The LARC framework, spelled L-A-R-C-C. Okay. All right then. So LARC is an acronym. For look back. Acknowledge. Oh. Recognize. Climb out. And consolidate. Cool. So when you are in your rock bottom moment, I'll draw out the graph here. So this is what it typically looks like. This is how we want it to look like. We are going to ask ourselves a set of questions. We're going to reframe the situation which is going on, which is going to allow us to grow, to see this growth here. Okay? That's what we're looking for. So the first section is look back. That's the first thing that we need to kind of understand. And the key questions that we've got to ask ourselves is, what was missing before the event? Before whatever happened, what was missing? What potential were you wasting? Were there red flags that you were trying to ignore? Or were you just unlucky? Or were you not paying attention? So put yourself before the event, before the bad thing happened. Answer those questions. Were you paying attention, ultimately? That's over here. Look back. The next stage is acknowledge. Yeah, I spelled it wrong on the first one. It's cool. So this part is pivotal. This part is about ownership. Because a lot of you guys lack ownership. The amount of times I speak to people and they're like, the missus has left me. I'm like, what did you do? No, but you should. No, what did you do? What did you do wrong? What role did you have to play in the situation? But how much of it was outside of your actual control? And these are the key questions that we've got to ask here. And I want you to do it like this. And you can do this now if you want. I want you to write down what actually happened in a few sentences. Once you've done that, I want you to rewrite the whole fucking thing and remove any pessimism and any blame and any negativity. So rewrite that passage and remove pessimism, blame, and negativity. You can do it mentally, okay? Now in front of you, what you're gonna have are facts. And facts are powerful. It's data, it's feedback. And with feedback, you can start to make amendments. So we acknowledge at this point. Now we're here at the rock bottom moment, okay? And this is where you're going to recognize. You're gonna have a look at your life and recognize how shitty things have got. How bad are you when it comes to concentrating? Your productivity, How much weight have you fucking put on? Are you snapping at the kids? Are you snapping at your missus? Are you snapping at colleagues? How bad has your life got because of what's happened here? Now that you've got the facts in front of you, how bad has your life actually got? Feels shit, doesn't it? But now we've got the power to actually do something about it. We've got data. We've took ownership. We've recognized where our rock bottom is. Now we climb out. Now that you've got all the data from here, you know how bad it got, how people treated you, how you changed. What things do we need to leave behind here? What beliefs, what people no longer serve you? Because you've got all the data, you've got the information. People have shown the true colors. You've shown your true colors. What behaviors, beliefs, and people do you need to leave behind? And finally, once you've realized that, we consolidate. That means you coming to terms with the shit that you're never going to do again, the things that you're never going to ignore again, the red flags that you're going to see at point blank, that you're going to see them for face value. And this way, this hardship that you've been through has become a lesson. It's become a catalyst for your growth instead of something that happened to you and pinned you down to the fucking floor. It strengthens you. And every time you face a challenge, every time you face adversity, you know you're going to come back stronger. You start rubbing your hand, you're thinking, come on then. You start thinking, Roger that, just like David Goggins. And that's the mental framework that I've adopted over the last 8 years since I went to prison. And that's what winners do. You can't be a victim your entire fucking life. You can't blame your trauma your entire fucking life. There has to be a point where you draw a line in the sand and you think, this is enough. I've had enough. But if we're going to do that anyway, why not do it in a shorter period of time? So the next time you are faced with a hardship, implement this immediately. Learn to implement this in the moment. You then become the sort of individual who relishes a challenge, who relishes hardship, who knows that there's going to be growth on the other side. And this is one of the frameworks that we teach inside the Hard Reset, which is our 90-day program. If you are somebody who is struggling, okay, if you've lost your way, if you're feeling a bit soft, frustrated with the current situation because of whatever's gone on, then that's probably the best program for you. I'll leave details of all programs below this video anyway. So just to reiterate, the LARC framework is a thing that you need in your back pocket. Look back, acknowledge, recognize, climb out, and consolidate. And that's how you fucking win.